Hey everybody, I am reporting live from Idea Creation Studio, welcoming you back to another amazing episode of LadyyT, Let's Talk About It. For those who have followed me from social media to YouTube, welcome back. And to the new viewers, welcome to the experience. We are all aware that we're in a different space like never before. Who would have thought that social distancing would be how we move in 2020? That people who have never planned to teach would be homeschooling. Did we ever think we would take a second to look at our colleagues, friends, and neighbors walking down the street in rubber gloves and face masks? That toilet paper and toilet towels will be one of the hottest commodities of the time. Well, here we are. These are serious times. And what struck me over recent weeks, without losing our minds. So with that in mind, I have connected with a couple of friends who are subject matter experts in the areas of research, education, medicine, and wellness. So I'm LadyyT. Let's talk about it. From the science perspective, we have a couple of different statistics and facts that we're given. So a lot of us have questions about the coronavirus and COVID, also out of work. So it is projected for 15 days. So where did it come from? Coronaviruses are a family of viruses that causes a disease in animals. 7, including the new virus, we have made the jump to humans, but most just causes cold-like symptoms. So when people talked about feeling sick or the flu that was kind of widespread this year, could have been coronavirus. Flatten the curve. I know you've heard it because I've heard it as well. What does that mean though? The whole point of social distancing, quarantine, and a curfew is to reduce the number of cases in order to make it more manageable for healthcare professionals to treat so that the system doesn't become oversaturated. I know a lot of us have seen what's going on in Italy and China as well. So just taking those measures that we all stay safe. Symptoms. I know a lot of people have been talking about symptoms. I know I've been taking my temperature every day. But symptoms include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Some people don't even show symptoms. So there are also no vaccine and no plan of vaccine until at least 18 months, meaning quarantine can last even longer. And that's just keeping it real. Kind of what I just said. To prevent the spread of this COVID-19 singing ABCs or happy birthday, just putting these basic hygiene things in. And sneezes. Coughs and sneezes go super far, farther than we would ever think that they could go. So some people, or I know I say it to my godbrother, the chicken wing method, or just covering it and being mindful who's around. You don't see a cough or sneeze. You don't see a cough or sneeze, but so many of these illnesses. Number 6, taking vitamins and all prescribed medications. That one's important. Taking vitamins and all prescribed medications. So if you know anybody that is taking medication, make sure they're taking it like they're supposed to. The family, the modern woman, the modern man is on go all the time, right? We spend more time on go than we do actually resting. So taking that time to decompress. We all like to be busy. We all like to be multitasking. We have businesses and jobs, but taking that time to rest, super important. So another big question, who's at risk or who's at the highest risk? Immune-compromised individuals, people with HIV, arthritis, asthma, pre-existing conditions, and older people. So I know it is a thing, especially that I want to talk about on LadyyT, Let's Talk About It, Even though millennials, we may not be getting the virus as high as some of those. So all of those people are at high risk. Doesn't mean other people are not at risk, but these are the people at a higher risk. So no one is immune, and yes, millennials can contract this virus. Just like I said, we can get it as well. We're, as much as we like to think about it, we're not, we can't fight everything, guys. So just be mindful of that we can get it as well. So keep that social distance, okay? Overall, we all need to do our part to slow the contraction and incident of COVID-19. Education. I have a lot of mentees who are now out of school, are worried about graduation the most. How can we continue the education aspect during COVID-19? So, being relentless about a daily routine or schedule that includes academic, not a vacation. Continue to learn, continue to press yourself, continue to grow during this time. You have a little bit more leeway than you did while you were in school, right? So how can we change that time to be productive? Also, staying in contact with your child's teachers and their direct learning assignments and materials, or distance learning assignments and materials. So for the parents, you have to be even more connected to your student's journey. It's an investment piece, and we're all trying to do our parts. I know a lot of educators who are looking at so many different ways and avenues to get that education to your children. One being Instagram. Teachers are going Instagram live to get their lesson plans across. How dedicated is that? To my educators, thank you. So another thing within education and COVID-19, don't shy away from conversations about how your child is feeling about not being in school and being away from friends. We're now getting into a space where it can feel like social isolation, right? So we talked about distance, we talked about keeping that space away from each other. It can be a lot, especially if you've never dealt with it before. Another thing is, if possible, let your child virtually engage with people, with supervision, of course, outside of the home, via phone, FaceTime, social media, etc. Going outside is an open area school environment provides. However, children are aware. We as adults are stressing and uncertain and also insecure. As a home teacher, it is okay that you don't do it the way the teacher does. Start simple. Stick with the basics this week and let the reality of our new normal fall into place. Meaning, if you have a younger kid, figure out new ways to engage them, right? So who knows children better than their parents? So how can we find new ways, make this new normal for right now, however temporary it is, but make this new normal colorful, right? You have the power, literally. Another thing is to include some type of reading occurring every day. This should include reading together, discussions, what has been read, as well as everyone sitting in the same room and reading for 20 to 30 minutes, depending upon the ability. Children who see their parents read are more likely to enjoy reading. What better way to get them to read than to be the example? We all have some way we can be productive. Let's get to reading. What joy would it be to be able to step away from your work to read with a kid, explore a book that you haven't looked at in a minute, and be that recipes, counting items in the house, things that happen in the house. Teach your child how to tell time. Try using an analog clock. Practice elapsed time. Example, if mom asked you to clean your room at 12:15 and you finish at 1:45, how much time was elapsed? Practice keeping time. How many jumping jacks you can do in 30 seconds, a minute, etc. Make this time fun. You have family time like we've never had before. The modern family doesn't spend that much time together. And even though we are practicing social distance during this quarantine, we have time to get reconnected. For the older kids, grades 3 through 6 should practice multiplication facts through 12. There are apps for all the parents to use, quizzing, and things to that nature. What better way to get them excited than to use the tools that they have and that they know? Get an app, reach out to somebody, social media, anything like that. Let's talk multiplication. Really talk and listen to your students. Give them the chance to work out and express their fears and concerns. They don't have it all together like adults seem to, right? So having these conversations with them can definitely break ice and get you connected even more than you would think before. Another big thing is to really talk and listen, right? So we do a lot of talking at them, but let's listen, see how they feel. You can have the next doctor that can possibly have the cure for COVID-19 down the road, but you gotta listen. So if they can't figure out how to solve a math problem, please understand that the brain cannot effectively work when it is stressed, working their problems and stuff like that. Contact the teacher if you need help. Another thing to do is to practice breathing with your child. Seems like a simple task, but in stressful times, you're now practicing breathing, which can then help with mental talks, mental practices down the road. Lay on the floor, take a breath, take a break, and then go back to doing whatever it was that you were doing that may frustrate you. That's not only a tip for kids, but also for adults. Teleworking can be stressful, right? You're now taking your work into your home, your safe space. So breathe with your child. Lay down, take a breath. So now into health and wellness. Take the time to eat home-cooked meals. Resist the urge to get lazy and just take out. Because right now, we can't dine in anyways. You might as well cook. And what's another best thing to do than to teach your child how to cook? I'm trying to learn a couple recipes myself. 50 ain't with it though. It's okay. We're going to learn how to cook better. Take that time to have family time. Cook together, bake together. But be at home and look up healthy recipes. This is the time to try some things. Squash isn't going out of stock in stores right now. It's toilet paper. So another thing, it's important to properly balance meals to help our immune system. Like I said, if you can't fight it, your body can't fight it. Let's help ourselves to be well. Another big thing within health and wellness during this quarantine time is to call your pharmacies and ask for an extra 30-day supply of whatever prescription or medication you need. We're talking about social distancing, and a lot of people have anxiety about going out into the world and talking to people, going into public spaces. So nothing beats a failure but a try. Why not ask to see if you can get that extra 30-day supply? Another thing, take care of the necessities first. That's big. Priorities. That's another big thing during this quarantine time that I think that the world is learning is priorities, right? So why are we prioritizing Germex instead of hand soap? Wash your hands. We just talked about that. 20 seconds, okay? Another big thing that I have been doing myself is getting active. Resisting the urge to just sit around and watch Netflix all day. I know after the first 3 days, you probably watched everything you wanted to on Netflix. But you can also try other places like Hulu, Apple TV Plus. There's so many things to watch. But instead of that, get active. It also goes into talking about that schedule that we talked about. It's important to maintain regularity in your activities and even adding new workout regimens. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I have done so many COVID-19 workouts, okay? Social media is quick. People will make workouts for any space that you're in. Also, Take that system that you've had before that you haven't used in a minute, like the Wii, like Xbox, and get active on there as well. It's important to maintain that regularity, right? And what better way, 2020 started off a little bit rough, but there's always time to go back to that New Year's resolution you started about going to the gym. Now, don't go to the gym, be the gym, right? Walmart may not have toilet paper, but they have all kind of workout stuff. Get together and let's work it out. You have nothing but time right now. Now going into the next segment is IT security, right? So just like I said, there are a lot of people that are teleworking and parents who are, too deep in the house working and, like I said, bringing it into their home safe space. But within IT and security, make sure you use your home VPN networks. Also, making sure those connections have secured passwords. So if you work for the government, anything like that, to that nature, make sure you have a secured password, right? Another thing, don't leave your banking websites open, right? So we're not going to the bank as much right now in this time. Don't leave it open. That's something you wouldn't want people to get. Make sure you log out when you're done. And another big thing is to limit your screen time in general. Family time. What better way to get back connected, right? It's family time. So limiting your screen time, taking a break every now and again, whether it's to go get a drink of water from the kitchen, but come back and then you're back into your work flow. Okay? So social distancing is not isolation. That's a big thing that I think we're all trying to grasp, whether you are a millennial, generation X, Y, Z, right? Social distancing is not isolation. We're all humans at the end of the day, and we got to keep that in mind. That human nature. What better way to get back connected than remembering the human beside you? Whether it's the human that is sick or the human that is well, it's not isolation. I know a lot of introverts are saying this is my time because this is how I was already living, but like I said, social distancing is not isolation. Just remembering that bubble, that space. With social distancing not being isolation, find small groups of friends to stay active with, whether it's enjoying meals together, taking a walk, setting up circuit trainings in your driveway, but also remember, no more than 10 people, okay? If you got 11, somebody's got to go. Be smart. Another thing, get the kids out of the house for a short period of time. In the beginning, we talked about a schedule. They need that reset schedule as well, right? I know you're in the house with your kids for days on end. Set that schedule. Let them have that time to get all of their energy out, right? That's why they have recess at school. So let them go out. While they're going out, you're working out. That ties wellness in there. Listen, LadyyT is tying knots, okay? Then check on your friends. Check on your friends, your neighbors, family members. They may not be okay. So not even talking about the health of it all, but their mental state. Check on your friends. Check on the old person. I know I checked on my grandfather. I mean, not necessarily like, oh, but, just check on somebody. That human piece, right? And another big thing that I try to keep in mind is having faith that this is a season. It will pass like every other pandemic of the past, Spanish flu, bubonic plague, anthrax. It is a season. We'll get through it. That's one thing you have to remember. And it also makes for a great story down the line. I wasn't in a world war, but I know about a pandemic now. I had to look up the word pandemic. It's a fact. So, just to give you guys a conclusion, y'all, I'm leaving you with two major things. First thing, we've got nothing but time now. If you follow me on all my social media platforms, you know I have been creating for you guys. bringing you funny stuff, serious stuff, information. We got nothing but time. Time to cook, time to sleep properly, time to rest our bodies and mind, time to be productive like never before. There are no excuses. It's time to make the outline for that book that you've been trying to write. Time to file for that LLC. It's time to meet that fitness goal. Because when I tell you, my coronavirus about to be snatched, Summer, I'm coming for you. There are no excuses at all. There is time on our side. And the second thing is, we will get through this. Everything in life is seasonal. So this too shall pass. Remember all the helpful tips that I've shared with you, compiled here, kind of keeping it on a lighter note, bringing all the information we've seen on the news, on social media together. My Instagram at LadyyT, on my Snapchat if you follow me there, and also on the LadyyT Let's Talk About It Facebook page. If you have, like I said, any other tips, share them with. Take serious breaks from social media and disconnect. Don't get disconnected from people around you. One thing I want to do, I want to thank my resources. We have Jocelyn Lockhart, who's an educator. We have Dr. Kim, JR Consulting, and Dr. Kristen as well. Another one is Jazz with Be Well, okay? We will get to connect with some of these people later down the road, but until then, stay safe, stay healthy, stay active, stay productive, and stay with me. I'm LadyyT. Let's talk about it.